All right. I'm going to make it through this week. Last week we played pickleball. I just got off crutches 2 days ago, okay? So bear with me here. If it wasn't for Bonnie, I don't think our scoring would have been out of control. And boy, the placement on Brian was, he plays ping pong. He goes, boop, right where it's supposed to go. But everybody else was there. There was a lot of people that came, and they cheered us on. And Barbara is just sheer genius. She is. She got this organized. And it's really, really cool because there's a metaphor for anything we do like this. It's not always comfortable. It's not always easy. And sometimes we really can't even do it. But there's always the metaphors that we like. Whereas if you want to get something out of a life, if you want to give something back powerfully in life, you've got to get in the court. Right? So don't hold back. Get in the court, regardless of what it is. It may not be pickleball, but it can be something else. And anyway, I think that's a great metaphor. So we're going to start. If you happen to be on the ethers, feel free to give us a little indication that you have a pulse and that you're with us this morning. We'd appreciate that. And we're going to start off with a beautiful song, something I've always wanted to sing. And we play it a lot of times, but we don't necessarily sing it. It's a great way to get us into the mood of why we're here. So let everybody stand up just a little bit and sing this song with us to the best you can. Remember this? Come, now is the time to worship. Come, now is the time to give your heart. Come, just as you want to worship. Come, just as you are before your God. Come. One day every tongue will confess you are God. One day every knee will bow. Still the greatest treasures remain for those who gladly choose you now. Come, now is the time to worship. Come, now is the time to give your heart. Come, just as you are to worship. Come, just as you are before your God. Come, willingly we choose to surrender our lives. Willingly our knees will bow. With all our heart, soul, mind, and strength, we gladly choose you now. Come, now is the time to worship. Come, now is the time to give your heart. Come, just as you are to worship. Come, just as you are before your God. Come, come, come. One thing I want to mention, we've got someone new here that's up here with us. What a difference he's making. What courage he has. He is here with us with the two band members that we have this morning, and it's just wonderful to have Rory Divin with us. Please give him a round.
Well, he's new, but not really new. Rory, for those who've been around this community over the last 40 years, Rory has, but he's new back with us, so we're very excited that he's here to share his gifts with us. And good morning to all of you. Good morning to those who are in this space with us and those who are connected with us through our Facebook Live or YouTube streaming service. We're glad you're here. It is a beautiful thing to be in a community where we have a common purpose and we are all supporting each other in moving through that. you may have recognized when you hear the word community that the second half of that word is unity. And the first half of the word is common or commune. So you can think of it that way. I love that word a lot better than family because, you know, families are beautiful and they're loving, but they're also quite dysfunctional. At least that's been true in my case. And so we want to be in community to be about what it is we're here to do. You know, our mission says we're here to inspire spiritual growth. And I think, though, our purpose goes even beyond that. This is where I'm living right now. I think our purpose is to provide the space and the tools for people to be able to transform their lives and then take that out to make a positive difference in the world. And so we measure our ability as a success as a community of how well we are able to move into that space of not only transforming our own lives, but really providing that place where people can practice, because it does take some practice, just like anything, including pickleball, but you just got to jump in there and do it. And, you know, it's not always pretty. Sometimes it's a little messy, but in the end, we're here for that common unity. So I'm grateful for each of you and for the ways in which you bring your love and your light into this community. And in the midst of all that, we can know, because we know we are sourced by that God energy, that no matter how it looks, all is well.
Please sing with me in the chorus. When peace like a river attended death my way, and sorrows like sea billows roll, whatever my lot, thou hast taught me to say, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul.
With my soul.
It is well with my soul. My sin, oh, the bliss of this glorious thought. My sin, not in part, but the whole, is nailed to the cross, and I bear it no more. Praise the Lord, praise the Lord, oh my soul. It is well with my soul.
With my soul.
It is well with my soul. And Lord, haste the day when my face shall be sight, the clouds be rolled back like the scroll, the trumpet shall resound, and the Lord shall descend. Even so, it is well with my soul. It is well with my soul.
With my soul.
It is well with my soul. It is well with my soul. Well done. Now, Today is a special day because special people are in our congregation having special birthdays. Gladys, would you please stand up? We want to wish you a happy birthday today. So everyone together, let's sing a sweet happy birthday to stand, come on. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Gladys. Happy birthday to you. Thank you for blessing us for decades. Lovely.
We have something to share with you this morning. We're getting ready. Thank you. Okay, we're coming back. We're coming back. We'll do it again. Sorry, too far.
It's beginning to get hot.
It's getting very hot.
I'm glad I had my hat and my sunscreen.
I'm not looking forward for this summer when it gets blazing hot.
Well, I wonder what the homeless will
Okay, here we go.
We haven't practiced very much. Oh. Oh. Okay. Where's my line? I wonder what the homeless will do that don't have these things. Yeah, I wonder what they need.
We could ask our friends to donate items and make summer kits for the homeless. They could order from Amazon and deliver to the church, or get the taller store, or just pick them up while you're out shopping. I think the Salvation could hand them out at their stations.
We got something over there. Did you hear that?
Somebody has something you're going to go collect. Thank you.
But you want my hat?
Oh boy, water bottle, cooling towels.
Whoa. Wait. Do you want my hat? This is my hat. I need my hat. It's hot out. This Texas sun. I tell you what, I'm going to go get him a new hat. Can I get him a new hat? Okay, good.
That would be great. We have another hat. Oh, we have another hat. Oh, and look over here. This lady has some chapstick. Okay. And we got sunscreen, and we got oh, I forgot. It was my turn. There's sunglasses. There's more sunglasses. Look, all these people participating. We love it. Thank you so much.
You know, we can all order from Amazon any of these items and have them sent to the church or bring them in with you.
Now you read this one.
The kits cost about $25. You can just donate and we'll purchase the items and make up kits. But we want to help the homeless this summer.
I'm not donating mine. I'm going to go buy new ones. Okay, there will be a box at the back of the sanctuary for donations. We will collect all through May. We will meet on May 28th after service to make up the bags from the items collected. I guess that means me.
If you're available, we'd love to have you. Thank you, everyone, for participating. I could have kept it on, you're right. Today's daily word is free. I am one with the freeing guidance force of God.
When I think of freedom, I imagine a bird in flight, soaring above the earth. As the bird glides, it seems to effortlessly move through the air. Then it flaps its wings, moving upward and forward against the force of gravity. Likewise, I open my mind and heart and feel the freeing force of God within. This force is powerful and peaceful, and I give myself over to it. As I do, I overcome stifling feelings of stress or doubt. I trust in God, and I move forward and upward with renewed purpose and confidence. Just as a bird overcomes gravity to fly with purpose, I overcome the challenges and circumstances in my life to find my purpose and live from my divine nature. I am free.
From Hebrews 13:6, so we can say with confidence, "The Lord is my helper. I will not be afraid. What can anyone do to me?"
And as we have our healing prayer, we surround and unfold all of those prayers that we hold in this community, those that have been submitted through our prayer box, those that people have submitted online, and certainly in a special way, I've already spoken with a couple people this morning who had relatives or friends who were affected by the tragic events yesterday in Allen. So we just want to wrap our arms around all of those who are grieving and who are moving through into that place where they once again know that they are safe. God, we don't always understand why things unfold the way that they do. We don't understand the very depth of hurt and anger that is part of our human condition, and yet we know that the way that we move into overcoming it is each individual doing their best to be in that place of love and of peace, of knowing that there is something so much greater than the events that surround us, and knowing that in this life eternal, we are always truly free, even when it appears that we are not. So we just continue to do our part in adding our light and adding our love, adding our compassion and understanding into this world. And we do that with faith and with trust that you and your powerful presence is right in the midst of each and all. And we are awakening to it in greater and greater measure in this moment and in the moments to come. And so we simply say thank you. Thank you, God. Amen. That was beautiful, Bob. Thank you. So I had a joke I was going to start with, and I don't know. I'm not in the space to do it. So we're just going to dive right in to this week's cultivating different aspects of our being so that we can embrace those parts of us that are imperfect, and we can enliven those parts of us that are here to add to the world, that are part of our purpose for coming to this space. We're going to be looking at intuition, faith, and trust this morning. And there are key aspects for us to cultivate in order to walk through what can seem like very challenging day-to-day activities. All you have to do is watch the news. And, you have to then breathe and be able to tap into these things in order to be able to add to the light of the world rather than to become that same sadness, anger that we already have plenty of. It's there everywhere. We're exploring The Gifts of Imperfection by Brene Brown, and she has done a lot of research over decades in trying to understand what it is that people have that allow them to live from this wholehearted place, that allow them to live in that space of love, which requires being authentic and vulnerable, that requires us to follow guidance beyond what the world would tell us life should look and feel like, or what we're supposed to do or not supposed to do. Intuition is one of those attributes that we have come into this world with. However, most of us don't spend a whole lot of time cultivating it. For many people, that was pretty woo-woo. It was out there. It was only what psychics did and other people that lived in a different space than grounded in this human spiritual world. But intuition is a faculty, just like any other faculty we have, that can be cultivated, that allows us to receive guidance from God through the highest part of us. But it never comes through our heads. Intuition really can only be received through that heart space. So it's a different place we have to get in touch with and begin and be willing to trust it. It's not always easy to do because oftentimes our intuitive thoughts are things outside of the norm, are things outside of what our reason would tell us we should be thinking or doing or being or having. It is independent of the reasoning system, although then we can take that faculty to help us put some form around this intuitive guidance. And what she discovered was the people who were able to live wholeheartedly had developed this ability to follow their intuitive guidance. Some people call it your gut. You know, it's that little inklings that you get, the nudges that you get, sometimes the 2x4s that you get that say, this is next. This is the path you should follow. Give this person a call. Have you ever had that where you've gotten that feeling, oh, I should give so-and-so a call, and then you call them and they said, oh my God, I'm so glad you called because this has just happened. It shows up in our lives, but a lot of times we slough it off in our logic as that it's just coincidence that these things happen like that. But I don't believe in coincidences. So intuition is not really a single way of knowing. It is our ability to hold space for uncertainty. That's usually one of the hardest parts. Our mind, our reasoning wants to make it very solid in its form. But intuition, we're not always in that place of solid knowing. We are unclear sometimes. It's a little nebulous out there. It is our willingness to trust that. And it is also taking into account knowledge and insight and instinct and experience. All of those things and even reason go into our whole intuitive abilities. Sometimes our gut may tell us where to go, and at other times it may say, stop, gather more information. That's usually the tough one for me because I'm a doer. So it's like, tell me what to do and I'll go do it. But if it's like, no, it's time to just be, it's time to continue to just be open to the different kinds of guidance that comes. What often gets in the way, at least for me, of following our intuition is our need for certainty. Any of you ever went, no, I need to know a little more clearly that this is what, or the direction I'm supposed to go? And for the author, when we're in that place of uncertainty, her red flag is this: she starts polling people. Have you ever done that? You've had a big decision to make, and then and you get this gut that says, oh, we're going to do this. But that part of you that's uncertain and is uncomfortable with that will start going, well, you know, I'm thinking of doing this. What do you think? And we start asking different people for their input so that we can feel a little more sense of security, a little more sense of certainty. We want assurance that other folks who we think, you know, have good sense and knowledge are in agreement with us, or we want somebody else to blame if it doesn't work out. Well, so-and-so told me to do that. And I think sometimes people in the more traditional role of Christianity, that's how they deal with their uncertainty. It's like, well, I'm told I got to do X, Y, and Z in order to get to heaven. And if it's wrong, it's their fault, because all I was doing was following what they told me. When being in the question feels really uncomfortable, then our reaction is often to ignore our gut and to charge ahead forward rather than slowing down and getting information. We just want to make something happen. This being in the unknown is way too uncomfortable, so I'm just going to do something, even if it's the wrong thing. Charles Fillmore wrote in The Revealing Word that intuition is the wisdom of the heart. Just think about that. Intuition is the wisdom that is alive within us, that is being shared through that divine arena of wisdom that we can tap into. When one trusts Spirit and looks to it for the understanding, a certain confidence in the invisible good develops. This faith awakens the so-called sixth sense, intuition, or what the mystics called it, divine knowing. Through the power of intuition, we have direct access to all the knowledge and the wisdom of God. We don't have to know, but we have to be willing to tap into it. And our capacity to live guided by our intuition requires faith and requires trust. Otherwise, we may get lots of intuitive guidance, but unless we are willing to trust it and step out in faith, it probably never gets experienced in our lives. We need both, along with reason, to make meaning in an uncertain and always changing world. Faith, in Hebrews 11, and I'm sure most of you have heard this, is faith is the assurance of things hoped for and the conviction of things not yet seen. Brene Brown started with that understanding, and then after all of these years of delving into how this shows up in people's lives, she developed this definition of faith. She says this: faith is a place of mystery, where we find the courage to believe in what we cannot see and the strength to let go of our fear of uncertainty. I want you to hear that again. Faith is a place of mystery. So we have to embrace that mystery, where we find the courage to believe in what we cannot see and the strength to let go of the fear that we oftentimes feel when we're in that space of uncertainty. Father Richard Rohr, who we've studied some, a modern day mystic, he observes this, and I thought it was an interesting observation. He says, "My science friends live in the principles of uncertainty. They live in the principles of the mysterious dark holes. This place where the universe is full of questions with very few answers." He said, "But many who consider themselves religious folks insists on an answer that's always true. We love closure. We love resolution. We love laws to direct us while thinking we are people of faith. How strange the word faith has come to mean exactly the opposite. Ponder that this week. To live wholeheartedly, we are called to get comfortable with the uncomfortable. It's not an easy thing to do, but to be, I call it living in the question. You know, half my life I'm living, I don't know. If you ask me, I'm like, I don't know. We shall see. But I'm willing, as guidance shows up, to take the next step to see what that looks like. To make space for uncertainty, to trust the many ways that we receive guidance, all those different aspects, and to know that in the center of all of it is God, is that creative source alive within us. In the book of James, the second verse, many thousands of years ago, they were grappling with these same questions, that place of uncertainty, that place of trying to follow the will, as they thought of it, of God in the midst of everything that was going on around them. And this is what the advice was to the people of that time. He was speaking to the communities who were grappling with these very same issues. And he writes this, he says, "Don't run from tests and hardships, brothers and sisters. As difficult as they are, you will ultimately find joy in them if you embrace them with your faith. If you open yourself, they will teach you true patience and endurance. And true patience brought on by endurance will equip you to complete the long journey and cross the finish line, mature, complete, and wanting nothing. If you don't have all the wisdom needed for this journey, then all you have to do is ask. You ask God for it, and it will be given. He gives lavishly and never scolds for asking. The key is that your request must be anchored by your single-minded commitment to walking this journey with love. Those who depend only on their judgment are like those last, I'm going to have to read my own printing here. Those who demand only their judgment are like those lost on the seas, carried away by any wave or picked up by any wind. It's amazing how things have changed so drastically, and yet things remain the same. The challenges and the purpose of our lives, while in a totally different environment, are really not all that different than those who were initially on this journey. So we're going to move into a time of meditation so that we can, in this moment, see if we can cultivate and practice a little bit more of that intuitive guidance within us. So as you kind of just get settled in where you are, closing your eyes if that's comfortable for you, or just maybe focusing on some point in the room, bringing all of your attention into this now moment. As you breathe, let your thoughts just gently slow down. And as you breathe in again, bring your attention into your heart space. In fact, see if you can imagine that thinking, reasoning part of you that we focus and call our brains. Begin to slowly sink down from your head until it gently comes to rest in your heart space. breathing once again. Almost imagine you are now breathing out of your heart. Breathing in and breathing out. So that is the very center of your being and awareness in this moment. And I invite you to just bring a question, maybe something that you've been seeking some answers around, looking for some clarity about, guidance around a new direction that you're feeling called or led to move into. And bring that question into your heart space and then simply just be quiet and listen. And we listen with different parts of our being. Sometimes we can observe our body talking to us. We can feel a certain rush of energy when a thought floats by. There might be certain emotions that arise, an excitement around a certain idea. Or maybe a thought pops in to this sacred openness that guides us, if we're willing, to exactly what's next. Maybe not the whole picture, but just what's next. Where am I being called? Or perhaps you might get that time to slow down and gather more information. So we're just going to move into a short time of silence. And listen. And if nothing comes in this short moment, just know that there will be those moments in this day and in the days to come. If you're paying attention to the right and perfect next steps. Might be something you read, a conversation you have with somebody. Allow yourself the space and the willingness to be in the question and the courage to move forward when that time comes. As you begin to bring your attention back to this time and to this space, feel that sense of faith and trust in knowing that you are always guided on this journey. We just need to be willing and be open to receiving it. And for that, there's deep gratitude overflowing in this moment. As you take another deep breath, just allow yourself to be back present in this room. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. You know, as I was sitting, I have to stay present in I can't go too far off because I need to be present here with you, guiding it. But I've done a lot based on intuitive choices. And I usually don't discuss them with too many people because they think I'm crazy. But I say, I'm going to do this. I'm going to move there. I'm going to try this. But what I did notice and become aware of, that especially those bigger things, whenever I get that intuitive guidance, how it shows up for me, I'm always waiting at least for a period of time to sit with it. Usually, there's a little bit of resistance going on in me. There's reasons why. My brain tells me there's reasons why, no, we can't do it that way. And I'll sit with it, sometimes weeks, and sometimes even a month or two until I'm solid in it. And then usually, especially if it involves a major life change, then I have to talk with my husband about it and see where he's at and then begin the process from there. So, I think it's good to take action, but when you're working, especially in big shifts in your life, what's another week or two or a month, to really just get that solidified in your own being. To cultivate this life led by intuition and led with a trust and a faith, we must learn, as I said earlier, to be okay with uncertainty. It's the opposite of what our humanness is usually comfortable in. It craves that sense of certainty, that sense of believing, at least, in our own elusive nature that we know exactly how things are and what's going on. And we have to recognize that fear and vulnerability and anxiety may arise as part of this, and that's okay. It's simply our reaction to not knowing. It's not guidance that we're going in the wrong direction. So I wanted to leave you with a couple of suggestions to begin, because it doesn't happen unless we practice with it. It doesn't happen unless we learn how that shows up for us, and it's going to be different for each person. But we're called to at least have a part of our daily process to be still. We can't hear intuition if we're constantly in the noise of life. It just can't quite get through. So getting still, whatever that looks like for you, it doesn't mean you have to be in a lotus position oming. It just means that you have to step away long enough to just take stock of what's happening within and hopefully breathe and find a way to get that parasympathetic nerve system operating so that you have access to other parts of what's going on, not just that part of you that's always looking to see what it needs to do to protect and be safe in this world. Finding some way, whatever that is. For some people, it's in the shower, It's that moment. And just, you can still be, your body knows how to wash itself, intuitively. It will take, or out of practice, but just use that space or some other space in your life. The car is not a good place to do. I used to try and practice in the car. It's not a good place to do it. And to immerse yourself, I think, with inspiration and awarenesses of how other people might have done this. It doesn't mean that you're going to do it the same way, but it inspires you to go, wow, look at what's possible when I'm willing to do this. One of the things that I used to do as a regular practice, and I did this mainly when I moved to Roanoke because it was a foreign city for me. It's a small city, and you got out into nature pretty quickly. Roanoke was 5 miles, and this is Virginia, not Texas, from about Square. That was the whole city, and then you were out in the country. I used to, on my day off, just get in the car and drive. I had no idea where I was going. I had no agenda, no plans, and I'd just see what unfolded in the day. When I got a little intuitive nudge, I should stop here for lunch, or let's go into this park, or let's walk this trail. I never knew what the day was going to look like, or half a day, whatever I could ascribe to it. And I had many amazing connections with people that I hadn't met before. I had many amazing adventures and got to see some really beautiful spaces in this world. Not intentionally, but as part of just being willing to go, I call it to just go with the flow, wherever I was being called. I had a few harrowing things. I was up in Colorado and taking a training, and the mountains were right there. I thought, well, this would be a fun day. I've got a rental car. Let's just go up in the mountains and see what happens. And there was still a fair amount of snow, although most of the roads were pretty clear. And I did have my GPS. Thank God we have, that was my backup plan. If I got totally lost, I could, hopefully that would guide me back down. But I ended up, all of a sudden, it's like, turn here. So I'm like, okay, I turn there. And the next thing I knew, I was going straight down on this icy road with the this precipice right here. And I'm like, what the heck? I was not real happy with my intuitive guidance in that moment, but I managed to very slowly get down to the bottom of the hill. And I have to tell you that I've never been so awe-inspired of the scene that presented itself to me once I could breathe again and I could let go of my anxiety that I never would have discovered if I hadn't been following this process. And it took a lot of faith and trust in myself and in those angels guiding me down this icy little road. There's a couple of books that the author recommends that I've read that I think are wonderful. And one of them is called When the Heart Waits. It's one of those, if you have a hard time you're always just wanting to, let's get it done, get it. When the Heart Waits by Sue Monk Kidd. And then there's also another one, Comfortable with Uncertainty by Pema Chodron. Both of those are really good books if this is something that is newer to you and you want to explore it a little bit more. And ultimately, if you find yourself in that place feeling anxious or scared or unsure, find an affirmative prayer that will help anchor you back into the awareness of God in the midst. The one that she uses, and I think it's a beautiful prayer, it's probably one that you've spoken before, and we're going to do it affirmatively today, is the Serenity Prayer. You ready? Ready to put your voices behind this? All right, here we go. Let's do it together. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference.
Hello,
Darkness, my old friend,
I've come
to talk with you again, because a vision softly creeping left its seeds while I was sleeping, and the vision that was planted in my brain still remains within the sound of silence. In restless dreams I walked alone, narrow streets of cobblestone, beneath the halo of a street lamp. I turned my collar to the cold and damp, and by the flash of a neon light that split the night and touched the sound of silence.
And in the naked light I saw 10,000 people, maybe more. People talking without speaking, people hearing without listening, people writing songs that voices never share, and no one cares.
disturb the sound of silence. Who said you do not know? Silence like a cancer grows. Hear my words that I might teach you. Take my arms that I might reach you. But my words like silent raindrops fell. Echo in the wells of silence. And the people bowed and prayed to the neon god they made. And the sun flashed out its warning in the words that it was stormy. And the sign said the words of the prophets are written on the subway walls and tenement halls. Whisper in the sound of silence.
That was beautiful. Well, it is our opportunity now to share of our financial good with this community. It is through the many channels in which we receive, including each of you, that allow us to do what is ours to do and to be that place and that space of transformation and making a positive difference in our world. And so in just a moment, the ushers are going to invite you to come up row by row and place your gift in the larger basket. And then we have an affirmation in the smaller basket that Spirit has chosen for you this week to bless you. Yes, if you give through our committed giving program, we've got little cards in there, or this is just not your Sunday to share. You can bring that and drop them in, or I like to just add my energy to the basket, knowing as I give through these other forms, that energy flows in and through this ministry. So let us take our gifts or the energy of those gifts into our hands and into our hearts and bless them together. Divine love, through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, Father, Mother God.
Good morning and welcome. If you're watching us for the first time online, we're glad you've chosen to join us, and we invite you to visit our website and fill out the Connect card. And if you're watching locally, we hope you'll visit us in person. If you're here in person for the first time, please complete a visitor card found in the pew pocket in front of you or at the desk in the visitor desk in the lobby, and drop it in the box. There's a box at the back of the sanctuary on your way out. Let us know who you are. Stephen Thornton has been a creative musical presence with us for a long time. Not only is he part of our remarkable praise team that gets us started every Sunday morning, but he sings in the choir often and during the special music part of our service, as in this morning. In addition, he steps in to lead the music team in general when Jeff is absent, again like today. With his wonderful voice and his creative talents, we just wouldn't be the same without him. So, Stephen, we love you, we bless you, we truly appreciate you, and we behold the Christ in you. Namaste.
Here's what's coming up at Center of Unity. It's the first Sunday lunch, so join us in Fellowship Hall after service where they're cooking up some extraordinary dishes, all for a love offering. We're having a sacred service project to provide summer kits for the homeless at the Salvation Army. The items that are needed for the summer kits include sunscreen, chapstick, cooling towels, hats or visors, sunglasses, and reusable water bottles. Please drop your donations off in the bin provided in the sanctuary. Items for each bag cost approximately $25. We will also be collecting monetary donations that we will use to purchase the items for this project. We will then meet in Fellowship Hall after service on May 28th to pack the items into Ziploc bags for delivery. Please see Norma Crawford or Phyllis Lantvett for more info. Want to discuss today's message in more detail? Then join us in person or online next Sunday at 9:30 a.m. for Adult Sunday School, where there is always an interactive and lively discussion. The Zoom ID is on the screen, or you can access it from our website or the COU app.
There are multiple ways you can make a donation to Center of Unity. You can drop your donation off at the church, mail it to our P.O. Box, visit our website, or use the COU or Venmo app. Your continued support is greatly appreciated.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for coming in this morning and being with us. And it's just that wonderful special time to bring in the kids. So let's do that now. What are the kids? This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. One more time. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
Good morning, everybody, and we have some folks here who want to share what they learned today.
We did mazes today when we asked God to help us. Today we made a puzzle. Today we made a puzzle that was 3 different and it was mixed up, and we tried to make it as a teamwork.
We read a book about Jesus walking on water.
All right, there we go. Thank you.
All right, everyone. Everyone, please stand up and let's sing our peace song together. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be. With God as our Father, family all are we. Let me walk with my family in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
And so, as we go into this day, into this week, living by that place where we are guided through our intuition and trusting and having that faith that we are leading, it is leading us to somewhere good. We go, knowing our prayer for protection. Together, the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Join us for some lunch.